Hey, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half of the team powering Dungeonswag.com. And today, let's talk about some more cool scatter we can make. Let me turn this fan off, it's a little loud. Alright, so today we're going to talk about making small vegetables and plants for our TTRPGs. These are just some little random beads I had. These ones look kind of like, well, let's pick this up here. These ones look kind of like pumpkins. These ones might look like watermelons when they're painted. We can use these little ones for something, tomato bushes or something. But first let's start with the easiest part. The easiest part is making your leaves. So for this platform we can use, for this piece we can use something like that. We can use something like that. You can use some whatever you have, really. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to take a piece of this cardboard and use this to make our garden. So let's get a chunk that looks pretty decent. We're going to glue two of these together quickly. And we're going to cut them into a shape that we're going to use. So we're going to do this in a couple stages. Grab a pen and some scissors. We're going to make a rough shape of our garden. Let's say our garden's going to be like that. We're just going to make a tiny little nice garden. Okay, we're going to take our garbage away. Alright, so we want to make their garden this. So I think to make it so it's kind of modular and doesn't have sloped down sides or anything, I want to frame this in. So we have some hot glue here. And I have some bricks. It's a good thing I have bricks out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make like a planter. So just get your bricks. Go around the outside. Okay. These don't have to be perfect. What we're going for here is not perfection. What we're going for is spending a decent amount of time enjoying ourselves crafting and making something to populate our table. Now, in general, you'd probably be building something like this with fantasy in mind, but you could do this in weird squares and add different colored plants and do this for sci-fi or anything you'd really want. It's nice to have a bunch of pre-cut bricks, I'll tell you that, because without pre-cut bricks, these projects get pretty involved. So if you want to spend the evening making bricks, however you make your bricks out of, whatever you make your bricks out of, before you get into something like this, that could be a wise plan. Now, perfection can sometimes be achieved with silliness. Right now, I have no real plan. I'm just tossing some bricks around some cardboard, making a planter, and then I'm just going to put some glue on said planter. Now these bricks are made out of like little foam counting blocks you get from like the Dollar Tree or whatever. You can make your bricks out of whatever you want. I do like using these for my bricks though, because you can spray paint these. And they take pretty much any paint pretty decently, I think. I don't know. It's been a while since I used them for anything, because I don't do a lot of brick stuff. It's easier to cut bricks into something or to texture bricks onto something than it is to build it out of bricks. So usually only when I'm doing something little like this do I actually use loose bricks. Oh, come on now. Now, oh, don't do what I just did there. That ain't good. Look at that after I just cleaned my stupid pad off. We're almost done with that. We're going to have a nice little garden or planter here. Look at that. We're going to look like we know what we're doing. If we might confuse someone, make them think we're... Oh man, you start thinking I'm starting to get some sinuses or something. Well, for this last part, we need kind of a smaller brick. Oh, that'll fit perfect. Look at that. All right. Cool, 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 cool. Now, if we want this to be just flat, that's fine. If we don't, we can add some texture to it. I'm going to do mine just flat. We're going to get a little bit of Mod Podge here. Here we go. I'm going to cut a little piece of cardstock to use. Oh, that's not the sharp side. Oh, right on the workbench instead of using a cutting tool like a wise person would. All right, so I'm just going to make a little piece here to scoop some out. And we're going to spread that around. Try to get it as much as we can with this coverage. All right, we're apparently going to need a brush for this big of an area. When I do little spots, you don't really need a brush. Get it up to the bricks. It's okay if on the lower bricks that don't stick up as high, is if you get a little bit up on there, because realistically over time, dirt in a planter will try to level out with rain and stuff, and you will have some up on the bricks occasionally. So that's okay. Just want to spread this around the best we can. Throw that in your water. We're not going to need that again for a minute. Throw our bricks away. Oh, my spleen. Let's get some sand. We're going to do this right over the sand container so we can drop our sand. Right back in here, which we don't need. Okay. We're going to wiggle this around a little bit, get in the cracks, dump it out, take a look at it. Looks like we got everything we wanted to get. We're going to turn the fan back on, actually, even though it's loud. Sorry. But we want this to dry quickly, and moving air is the fastest way for stuff to dry. So we're going to hit this with a quick, put the hair dryer quickly. And then we're going to take it over to the, put it in front of the fan. All right. All right, so let's start on our veggies now that we have our flower pot made, or flower bed made. So let's start with something real easy. Let's make some lettuce. So to make some lettuce, we're going to get this really thin cardboard, or not cardboard, I'm sorry, styrofoam. We're going to cut some little strips out of it. Cut them at a little bit of an angle. Now this could be lettuce or cabbage or whatever you want it to be. So you're going to get it's easier to do this with like a square skewer. This one looks brown, which means likely I have once before used this to stir something. I don't throw things away, okay guys? Alright, so what you want to do is you want to come around here. You want to just get a dot and you leave it loose. Get a dot. Leave it loose. There you go. Get a dot. Roll it around, not too tight, leave it loose. What you want is some gaps. Okay, so that's big enough for a head of lettuce for sure. So let's cut off this little bit of excess. I have scissors, that'd be easier. Alright, we're going to let that sit for a couple seconds here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to cut some little notches out. Now you're probably saying, Doom, I've never seen lettuce that looked like that before. Well, you know what? Neither have I. I'm just trying something new. Alright, we're going to need to paint that at some point, so I probably should have left it on there. Here's what we'll do. Get a little bit of wire. Little dab of glue. We'll shove this wire up in here. Okay. Now we'll be able to come back and paint that. We're just going to stick it in that foam there. That's what that foam is actually there for when I do stuff like this. I like to have something. Alright, so let's see what we can do about this pumpkin situation. We need something for this pumpkin to sit on so it's flush. And something so that when we go to put it, you know, when we're working on it. So let's get another piece of wire. Let's make a little flat spot on top there. Put a dab of glue. And just set this on top of there. Let it firm up. There we go. Now we have something else we have to do on these. Since it's a bead, there's a little hole in either side. So what we're going to want to do here is squirt a little bit of glue into that bead, then slide the glue gun away to close that up. We're going to set that off to the side. Let's make another pumpkin. Bend our tip. See that? Dab of glue. Dab of pumpkin. Again, you can make this, if you don't have this little convenient bead that I have, and I realize we don't all have the same crafting materials. I can't remember where I got this at, Michael's or maybe Hobby Lobby, somewhere like that though. But if we don't have the same crafting stuff, don't be intimidated by that. Be creative. Grab a little air dry or something else, or don't use pumpkins. That's an option. Alright, so when we do this, when we do these watermelons, you actually want to go through more than you're planning on using, because we're going to make a little vine. So on this, you're just going to want to make your dot and then slide it down onto the dot until it's not going to move around. Okay, and then you can leave that for now. We're going to set that off to the side in our little holder. Doing this stuff all at once is a lot better than doing it a little at a time. If you're going to make a whole farm, make all your pumpkins at once. Make all your watermelons at once. Do it all at once. We're going to slide that down to the glue. Bloop. We're going to set that off to the side. A lot of spider webs on this project, guys. Girls, everybody watching. Okay. Now we know we're going to have some tomato plants. So to make our tomato plants, we're going to have a bigger commitment. So for our tomato plants, we're only going to have 3 tomatoes on each one. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this wire in half, right? Pinch at one end. Then you're going to have a piece like that. You're going to put a dab of glue on that sticking out piece. Let me see if I can do that a little closer so you can see it better. You're going to put a dab of glue. Get your first tomato, slide it on your vine. Now, I am not oblivious to the fact that these are ridiculously big for an RPG scale tomato. I understand that. Now we're going to curve this up. We're going to make a little U shape. We're going to put our tomato on there, on this exact same vine. Or not vine, plant. So you get your tomato, get your hot glue. Now on the other side, we're going to make a little shape so that it simulates that it's hanging down a little bit like that. We'll get a hot glue dot. And throw our tomato on there. Now you're going to have some excess. You just kind of peel that away. Then you take this piece we twisted around, grab your plant, and then turn them together. Just like that. Okay? I think we're actually going to have to put one more tomato on here. Let me find something to pinch that. Let's do it. No. This will do it. Nope, that won't do it either. Oh, give me a second here. I gotta find the parts. Throw a little bead of glue on there. Add one more tomato onto that loose piece. Get your finger and pull that up onto there so they're all attached. And this is going to be your tomato plant. And then these can just hang wherever because we're going to have some foliage on here. Now, the down here, as you see at the bottom, there's a little twisted part. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece we were using, or any toothpick, we're just going to shove that in there for now to hold it in place. Twist it up a little. Shoot, lost my toothpick. All right, twist it up a little better. Okay. Now we got to deal with these spider webs. Okay. Take that tip off. Slide that through here. I'm going to stick that in there to hold over for now. We're going to come back to that. All right. So we need these to be something. So let's get a toothpick. Let's come up through the bottom. All right. Now, let's figure out how we're going to handle this. We know we need to base coat these, and we know we need them to be dry enough to paint and handle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, and I'm going to hit them with some spray primer. When you're hitting stuff like this with spray primer, I'm going to tell you now, every single inch of this does not need to be coated. It's going to be alright. Because as long as you have decent coverage on a lot of it, it's going to stick enough to do these little projects. Now, while those are drying, let's make our vines on these watermelons. So what we want to do is we want to get a knife. Just something, you know, like a little craft knife. And you want to cut some little triangles. Okay. Out of foam or cardboard or cardstock. Cardboard would probably not be ideal. So when you're doing your vine, you know you want it to end up in the ground, right? So you make the final piece of it like that, curved out. And then you're just going to put a little dabs of glue. Get forceps, or tweezers I should say, and just rub that around until it sticks. And different angles is good. If you're in a hurry, try using something besides hot glue. Not using hot glue if you're not in a hurry. Try using some super glue or some Elmer's or something. It might take a little more setup, a little more dry time. Okay, so we're just trying to simulate that this is some piece of vine or something that has a little more foliage on it. This doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now when you're removing your spider webs on this, speed is kind of key. Okay, you don't want to burn your foam things up too much. If you melt them a tad, that's okay, but you don't want to burn them. So there's one of our watermelons. Let's get this one, get a good shape for our vine. We know it's ultimately going to end up on the ground. Do the same thing. And you can get as creative with this as you want. You can put 2 leaves in one spot if you wish. 3. Okay. All right. Pull off some of that spider web. Get some magic fire. Hear that sound effect? That's the sound of magic fire. All right. Now we have to do something with these plants, which we don't know exactly what they're going to be. I think that the smart move would be here to get maybe some cardstock. Crinkle it up some. Simulate your leaf with that. So what I would do here is I would just get a dab of glue and I would put a couple of these down in it. This might be easier with scissors actually. Crinkle that up. Take that tip right off there. Dab of glue. And I say dabs of glue on these. I mean, I am using just the tiniest little, barely pushing the button kind of bit of glue. I am not using a large amount of glue for this endeavor. You don't want these all the same size or the exact same shape. And what you can do is, if you don't have any more room to put it down that hole and you've made a mistake, you can drag some of your glue up like a stem and shove it under there. Okay. And if we don't like how big those leaves are, that's an easy fix. We just curl around with the shears. And shorten them up a little bit. Okay, so too nice. All right, so now we have a big problem here with this. We have, well, first we gotta hit this with a lighter, because somehow we missed some of the spider webs. All right, so we need leaves for this. And this is going to be exceptionally difficult to do with a hot glue gun, but because I am determined to do it this way, I'm going to try it. I don't know if you guys can see these little triangles. I hope you can. They're pretty small. All right. So we got the stem of our tomato plant. What we want to do is to cover up this wire some. We're going to get some hot glue in the middle and a daub here. We're going to get the tweezers. And we're going to feed it some leaves facing upwards towards the sun. As fast as we can. Which is apparently not that fast. Right? Alright, then we're going to get a little bit underneath. We're going to do the same thing. Now, mind you, I did not look at a picture of a tomato plant before beginning this endeavor. So I guess I should not be calling this a tomato plant. More accurately, it is a whatever it looks like when we're done fruit plant. We have a little bit there. I'd like to put something on there on this side stem here. Just get a little dot. Grab your leaf. I think I'd like to put two there. There we go. Alright, so that will be passing as our tomato slash whatever it happens to look like when we're done plant. Nice. A little bit of... Oh, caught one of the leaves on fire. Oh, caught a lot more leaves on fire. Oh, well. So we lost some leaves. After I even gave that nice warning about that. Oh, we need one more thing here. We need some leaves for this. And I think with this, I'm going to do something a little different. Just going to get some glue around here. I'm going to stick these up at an angle around it. And we want those to overlap a little bit so it'll be a little sturdier. Something like that. And we'll paint this a different color. And then we're going to do a little texture on this. And we're just going to drag a little bit of glue out. Then we're going to squish it around with our gun. What is this, you're wondering? Who cares? Make something up. We're just trying to make a modular, cool little garden. Now you can do flowers pretty easily too. We're not going to do that this video, though. We're just going to do this. So I'm going to base coat this stuff. We're going to come back and we're going to paint it. And we're going to put it on our garden. Thanks for watching. This is what we came up with. Let's see how it looks when we're done.